Hi, my name is Erion Duro, and this is my solution for homework 2. So this program will be setting up a socket between a client and a server, allowing us to send messages back and forth between the two. So the first thing we'll do is import our socket and system modules, and we'll also define a usage string so we can easily print that out if the user enters the wrong input. So first we'll jump down to our main function at the bottom here, and this is where we'll parse the command line arguments supplied by the user. So it needs to be exactly 3. That's the only way you can use this program. So if it's not 3 arguments, we'll go ahead and print usage and exit. Otherwise, if it is 3 arguments and it begins, the first argument is that -s option, and then we'll go ahead and take the second argument as the port we will be binding to as the server. And then we'll go ahead and call the server function with that port. And this will be enclosed in a try and exception, just in case the user enters something that is not a number after this option. This will go ahead and cause an exception, so we know to print usage and exit again. And then otherwise, if the first argument is a digit, then it will operate in client mode. So we'll take that integer digit as the port number, and the host name will be whatever the user supplies afterwards as a string. And we'll go ahead and call the client function with those 2 arguments. Otherwise, if they somehow manage to screw up past this, we'll go ahead and exit and print usage as well. So jumping up to the, we'll do the client function first. This function will take a port and a host name, and it will go ahead and open up a socket over the internet using a TCP-like input-output stream. And we'll go ahead and call that S, and we'll invoke the connect function method on S using the port and host name supplied by the user on the command line. If that connection is successful, we'll go ahead and enter standard in and collect input from the user line by line. After each line we connect, we'll return that immediately to standard out. And then we'll also send that line to the server through our socket after encoding it to ASCII. And of course, we're dealing with user input again here, so we'll wrap that with a try and accept clause. And whether they cause an exception or they simply terminate the standard input, we'll go ahead and shut down the socket and then close the connection. Then on our server, we have a server function which takes simply a bind port argument, and this is the port that we will bind to on our own local machine in order to set up that socket. So we're going to set host to localhost because whoever invokes this program will be the server themselves. And then we'll do the same thing, open a socket over the internet using a TCP stream, and we'll call that S. And then we'll bind S to localhost and the specified port, and then we'll go ahead and listen for incoming connections. Once we have a connection, we'll go ahead and continuously receive messages from that connection until the end of file or control D is received. And as we're doing that, for each message we receive, we'll convert it to an ASCII string, and we'll reverse it, which is done here. You're simply taking a slice and stepping backwards, -1. And then we'll also strip that of any delimiters that will be passed with these messages sent by the client. Sorry, got distracted. And then once we break out of this loop and receive that control D or end of file from the user, the client will have initiated the termination. So we'll go ahead and close the socket. And that should be our program. So I'll go ahead and do a couple trial runs. Messenger hi. And as you can see, if we give the wrong arguments, I've caught most of those errors here. And then in order to properly execute this, we'll go ahead and treat this first terminal as the server. So I'm messenger will use the server option and specify a random high port, so we don't need to request access. So now this server is listening on our local machine. We'll go ahead and set up a client. I messenger.py. Our port number will be that same 888 that we set our server up to be listening on. And then our host name will be a special value localhost. And now these two have initiated the socket connection. So we can go ahead and type into standard input on our client side. It will return it back to us and also send it to the server, where it will be reversed and printed onto the server's standard input, standard output. And so this will continue as long as we like. And then when we send the control D, we'll get the, we'll close the connection on both sides. And then just to run through the tests, test one. There's test one. And there's test two complete. So yeah, that is my solution for homework 2. Thank you very much.